Hey guys, welcome back to Fiction Friday, and this week I'm going to be reviewing The Queen of Mysteries, and Then There Were None. Agatha Christie is one of the founders, pretty much, of whodunit writing, and pretty much that's where you have your killer, and throughout the novel you're trying to figure out who committed the murder, or in this case, multiple murders. Now this book, pretty much, the foreshadowing on it is a little obvious, because in the front page you get this poem that's pretty much tacked up in every room of these guests' rooms. But going back, this book covers the path of 10 individuals, none of them who know each other. They go off to this soldier island where they are invited for a number of different reasons. Now again, as promised, no spoilers, so within the first couple chapters or sections, this book is broken down into both sections and chapters. They're all rounded up into a room. They go there to talk and kind of get to know each other and who they are, and suddenly the lights kind of go dark and this record plays, labeling the crimes that each of them have committed. And that's not much of a spoiler because all these people come there for some reason. Now here's the real factor why they're all tied together. Now, and each of them are labeled for murdering someone. One way or another, they're all going to deny it. I think that's just human nature to deny a crime. Even though murder is as horrible as it is, they're going to deny it because nobody wants to feel, guilty of murder in front of anybody else. So they're all sitting there and they're trying to decide, well, is this true or not? So in the case of the title, even, this book goes into heavy foreshadowing. So even the title, And Then There Were None, I think you could pretty much figure out what's going to happen. In the heart of Agatha Christie, someone's going to die. And then there were none, and the poem in the front gives so much away, I feel, in the way the story is, and I'm not going to go into reading the poem now, but the sense of foreshadowing throughout this book, especially with that poem in the front, you could just flip back and forth and see what's going to happen next, almost. You're not going to find out the details, but you'll just get a general overview of the book. So by the end, and then there were none. Unfortunately, that's not much of a spoiler, especially with the title and that poem. In being a book from the 20th century, especially early 20th century, knowing that I've read mostly, in the past, I think 6 episodes of Fiction Friday, I've read mostly New Age novels. This one comes a little harder to read. But this isn't as hard to read as like a 19th century novel, which is chock full of details. This pretty much gets to the point and pretty fast. It's a short book, but it's still, some of the language is hard to pick up because it's old 20th century English from England. So you're going to get some of the weird slang that they use, and you might have to look some of it up, and especially since it's a bit of an older English, you're going to get some phrases that are very obsolete now and nobody uses. So that I found a little bit hard to work through. But finding out each murder, you kind of get who the murderer is at some point. But then she throws in her own twists, which I like a lot. She does throw in little twists here and there, and especially in the end where at first I was like, well, I got the murderer. I know who it is. I know who did it. No, by the end of the book, it completely turns around who you thought was the murderer, or at least, figured out, because as they're trying to figure it out, you're working through it as well, and I like that aspect of it. This book, since it was a little hard to read, since it is an older novel for me, I'm going to give this a straight 4 stars, because the mystery in it was very well done. It's an old book, so this book has been tried and tested for so many years, but I'm just going to give it a 4 stars, because it was harder to read in today's modern mystery, but this is her writing, Agatha Christie's writing. Pretty much, it was a big stepping stone for all mystery writing, and I think it really put it on the map for as what mystery writing is known today, or thriller writing is for today, because I don't really know if you have that major, murder mystery novel before her, and she definitely codified what we know as mystery to be. I recommend this book. Again, 4 stars to any real murder mystery lover, or just wants to go back and read like an older novel, or her work in general. I have to read a lot more because I'm definitely interested in her work. Agatha Christie's work is known all over. She's definitely one of the biggest English writers of the 20th century, maybe of all time as well. She can definitely be roped in with the top 20 of England's greatest writers. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it probably was a little short today, but this is definitely a short book. So I hope you enjoyed this novel. Then There Was None by Agatha Christie. So I'll see you guys next week, and I hope you enjoy.